Hello and welcome to the Cumberland Producer Panel. Today, our conversation is with two poultry producers, one from Canada and another from the United States, as well as a representative from Cumberland Poultry. And we're going to talk about how growers are using technology to optimize poultry production and management. Derek, I'd like it if you could maybe start out and tell me a little bit about your poultry production operation. I mean, where are you located? How many years you've been raising broilers, and what do you enjoy most about what you do?
That's a great question. We're located in Mildmay, Ontario. Not many people would know Mildmay. However, it's about 2 hours northwest of Toronto, or for my American friends, I say about 3 hours straight north of Detroit. I'm a third generation poultry farmer. My grandpa started the operation in 1967. My father continued, took over in about 1970, and I took over from him about 12 years ago. Um, on our farm, we raise about 120,000 broilers per cycle, and we do it antibiotic free and have done so for about the last 12 years. I love challenge. I love the challenge of broiler farming, and I love the fact that I can maybe mess it up, but then in 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, I can start again and try something new.
What are some of the challenges poultry producers face as it relates, maybe production challenges, labor challenges, data challenges?
So for me in my operation, and I think it's not common in my operation, a lot of the challenges would be management itself. Genetics have come a long way over the last 20 to 30 years, and we're not raising the same bird that we were raising in years past. If we mess it up from a management perspective, if we mess up a day, if we mess up hours, we can certainly not let that bird express its genetic potential. So that would be one of the challenges. Another one would be the consumer shifts in their demands with respect to welfare and antibiotic use. So every time we pull an antibiotic out, or every time we get a welfare standard that we have to adhere to, it certainly can provide some challenges to the people actually managing the birds on the ground.
All right, that sounds, I mean, it is. I mean, you're dealing with a lot in your operation and it's constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
I'd like to introduce our next panelist. Ben, can you tell us your name and a little bit about your operation?
Okay, my name is Benjamin Hobson. 27 years old. We're located in Yadkin County, North Carolina, which is in the foothills or Piedmont area of North Carolina. Our operation consists of flue-cured tobacco, corn, soybeans, and small grains. We have 6 layer houses, breeder houses with Purdue Farms. And we actually have, the past few years, have been raising some industrial hemp for CBD oil production. So that's a little overview of what we do. We're not a huge operation, but keeps us busy.
Evidently, Ben, Scott, and Derek shared their thoughts on the challenges poultry producers face. What are your thoughts?
Well, with any business, times are always changing. Demand for poultry and that protein is always in the back of your mind. With these companies trying to market their product more so than the other competitor. So demand, as far as an industry and worldwide to supply the food chain, is one thing to keep in the back of our mind, because your input costs seem like they just keep increasing and increasing. So you have to try to learn how to become more efficient and make things more effective. We're fortunate in our area, and we've got a good setup, a good group of labor, some good people that help us with our egg collection and everything. And so we're fortunate there. But that's always something you got to keep in the back of your mind, because we definitely can't do it all ourselves. So labor is always an issue and something you keep in the back of your mind, and try to make sure you're keeping your employees happy and looking after them. And maybe adding on maybe what some of the other producers said, the change in what type of bird or what type of meats that is in demand right now. We've seen that directly with changing of the different breeds of birds and trying to adapt the growing practices that we've always had to adjust to these new breeds of birds. To keep mortality down, to keep hatch rates up, your egg production. It's all changing, and we're trying to keep up with it. And then on top of that, trying to eliminate the use of any antibiotics and vaccines and cut down on those type of things that you're using. What has always been in the past used as a preventative vaccine or preventative antibiotic. We're eliminating that, and that's through a whole nother hurdle into the game. But over the past, since I've become a producer, I've started in 2016, and that's really about the time that our company was really pushing to try to cut down on any antibiotics at all, or your vaccines and all. And that has mortality was the biggest thing, the biggest hurdle that we had to overcome to try to get that bird to live without using those medications or whatnot.
What do you enjoy most about being in the poultry industry?
I grew up in it. My dad built his first houses in '96, so I've been around the poultry operation my whole life. I went to NC State after graduating high school and graduated in 2015 with a agricultural engineering degree, and just happened to fall into a good time in the poultry industry. They were building some houses, and I was asked if we wanted to expand our poultry operation, and a lot of people called me crazy for wanting to, but I said it works pretty well for our operation, and we've it's not bad. It is 7 days a week, but I enjoy it.
Also on our panel today, we have Scott Becker with Cumberland Poultry. And Scott, I'd just like you, if you could introduce yourself, your name, your title, and how long you've been with Cumberland.
Hey, thanks. My name's Scott Becker. I'm the Director of Poultry Sales for Cumberland. I've been with AGCO Grain and Protein for 13 years and currently based out of Central Illinois.
As you're out in the industry, what are some of the things that you're hearing from growers related to the challenges that they deal with, related just to generalized poultry production, but even labor?
Poultry production is no different than any other small business, right? Finding quality, good help, and actually even just sometimes just help, it can be a challenge. So anything we can do to make that job easier or raise the level of performance of a management staff is well welcome to them.
What are some of the solutions you found to help in your operation to become more efficient?
It's been a lot, like I said, we've been in the business for 25 years, and we found little things here and there that will help us, to become more efficient. And once we built this new set of houses and put this controller in, it's allowed us to remote access is just that's number one thing right there off the bat. The remote access, just that helps me. If I need to make a minor adjustment or whatnot, I can do that, whether I'm riding in the tractor, spray, on a in the tobacco field on a harvester. I can make an adjustment on the fly right there, and not have to leave and actually go to the chicken houses. And that's been one thing that has really helped to increase our efficiency as far as time on our part.
Scott, would you mind commenting on why data is so important in poultry production today?
Poultry production is a game of fractions, right? Every tenth of a point of feed conversion adds up. Every day of gain adds up. Every reduction of electricity or improvement in the environment all adds up very quickly when you look at the number of birds and the number of flocks that our producer runs through in a year. So the more access we've got to data, the better information we've got, the more tweaks we can make to the environment and to the chicken house itself. Moves that producer a little bit further along the production line, and gets him going where he wants to be, and hopefully earning some of the premiums that are out there with some of the integrators.
Why is data so vital in poultry production?
One thing that we have seen is you want to keep the environment that those birds are in as consistent as possible. If you can keep them consistent, your hatch remains higher. Your egg production remains higher, and through that, feed and water are obviously your two major factors there. So if we can make sure that we're getting the exact amount of feed out at the exact same time every day, and make sure that their water is available, all the time, and that's one way that we've been able to increase our productivity and increase our production, is keeping that consistent environment and temperature as well, keeping a cool environment, especially during the summertime, because we do get some hot days here in the summertime. And one thing that has always stuck out for us, and we actually picked up this when we installed our Evolution 4000s in our old houses, was your water consumption and a water consumption rate, as far as a peak water consumption rate at a given time. So say every morning at 7:30, their water consumption is, we'll just use 50 gallons a minute. We've seen trends that if that time and that quantity of water is the same time or within a couple minutes every day, that's your best flock. So that's one thing we've been able to monitor. And if we see that, if you get a flock of birds and say their peak water consumption today is at 7:30 a.m. and tomorrow it's at 12 noon, and it's jumping back and forth, we've been able to, use that as a sign, hey, something's going on. We need to do a little investigating and get things back in line here. And that's one thing that, like I said, the Evolution 4000 introduced us to, and the Edge has actually improved on that. They give us a 15-minute timestamp of water consumption, and we've been able to use that. Not necessarily to identify an issue, but we've been able to use that to say, hey, there is an issue, and we're, do a little more investigating and figure out what's going on. And once again, egg production is key for us.
In your operation, when it comes to data, what data points are most important for you?
In our operation, definitely hands down, the most important is our daily weight. We watch that and monitor it twice a day. We have scales tied into our edge controller that when we go into the barn, and we can see online if those birds are tracking on their weight gain, well, because we know if they're not, there's an issue that we will need to address. Secondly would be water consumption, and we monitor it somewhat the same way. So weight and water consumption would be the two key things for us that we're looking at.
Thank you for joining us today. If you would like more information about the Edge controller, please visit a Cumberland dealer or go to cumberlandpoultry.com.